That was good. That was good. I'm not gonna lie.
That's the one.
That's the one.
Welcome back, everybody. Welcome to the greatest podcast, at least on this block. Tonight, we're going to have a special guest for you for the third time in a row. So, cheers to that.
Lucky
tonight,
number 3.
Wait. We just went from the best podcast of the decade to the best podcast
This week.
of this week. And then now you're in the block? What the fuck is going on with our ratings?
You know, we have a few fans in Australia and New Zealand, but I still think we have a lot to accomplish.
Over the last 3 weeks, we've acquired 3 new listeners.
That's true. Those are our guests.
Yeah. But yeah, what are we drinking this week? Personally, I'm drinking the Maker's Mark Cask Strength.
Oh, that's really nice. I am, again, in the spirit of what I was doing last week, just drinking from my advent calendar. Last week was really good. This week, I haven't tried it yet, so I'll let you know.
What were some of the standouts, if you know any?
Yeah, so in the calendar, it was pretty good. We had Eagle Rare, which is hard to find. We had some Larceny, like barrel proofs, some really strong whiskeys on there, and then harder to find. I mean, one was Blanton's, which was actually really cool.
Wow, okay.
Didn't you make this advent calendar?
Yeah, I know. But I did forget the order. And I'll be honest, the Blanton's was the only one that was donated because I have no way of accessing that. I just have no luck with it. But the other ones, yeah, I've either bought them or someone gave them to me. But I don't know the order, man. Okay.
Okay, cool. That's fair.
So what you guys been up to past week?
Nothing. Just a lot of things have been happening, and we'll probably discuss all of those things later. But I'm just prepping for my big Christmas party that I'm throwing. What have you guys been up to?
I know. I'm really excited for that, man. I'm glad we got the invite this time.
Yeah. What about you?
So for me, I mean, a lot of work stuff, but otherwise, I celebrated a birthday this week, so that was exciting. These guys were accommodating enough where we could delay recording because, this is the most important thing in our lives, but
it's fine.
Pretty flexible, I guess.
I mean, 60 never looked so good, man.
Yeah.
And you know that just because you share a birthday with Taylor Swift, we kind of have to give that respect.
I've been citing that a lot, and actually it's funny because I didn't realize she turned 34 this year. I thought she was a little bit younger, but
I thought she was in her late 20s.
So I thought I knew we had at the very most a 5-year gap, but only a couple of years. Not worried about that anymore. She is achievable, and let's be real, she's a billionaire. I could do a lot worse.
Well, I recently came back from court and paid a $500 ticket for speeding.
Paid $500?
Yes, $500. I was going 79 on a 45.
What was the rush?
So I was actually...
Was your wife pregnant? Was she delivering a baby?
No, $500 because I was just having a great day and I heard a new artist and just was listening to this song and I saw an open road and I just started gunning it. Unfortunately, I did get caught. But one good thing that did come from it was I think that was around the time we were looking for guests to come on. And I thought, why not ask him? So we're fortunate enough to have him in the studio today. So hands together for MalharB.
Woo!
Let's go.
Appreciate it, guys. Thanks for having me.
I will say, he didn't skip a beat and shared your album with us. And we heard it. I heard it all the way through a couple times.
Yeah.
And it's funny because we went on a trip to Texas about a month ago at this point. And on the way back, I was trying to listen to music and I realized I didn't download any of my music. But I had your album downloaded. Oh. so I just listened to that. And I was telling him about it. I'm like, man, like this is actually really good.
Thanks.
And so we have a lot of questions, but I have a lot of other questions too about like some things like your headspace, how you get the inspiration, that kind of stuff, which you may or may not have the answer. Sometimes I'm sure with artists it just comes to them. But
Yeah, but like give us a little background about yourself, man. Like artist, entrepreneur, producer, and just through a deep dive of your Instagram, 2016 Schaumburg Athletic Association basketball champion. So you clearly have a lot going on.
He does look tall, so I can see basketball.
Yeah, okay. Definitely. No, Endersalk Park legend. I'd like to start off right there.
What's Endersalk?
Yeah. Endersalk is my elementary that I went to. So that's like the local park that we have. No, but I started making beats at 16, and then I was doing that for about a year or so. And the artist that I was working with, the first beat that I made, it just didn't fit him. So after trying to find someone to hop on it, the guy I work with now, he's like, "Yo, why don't you just hop on it?" So by doing that, I was also just going table to table, asking people what they thought about the beats. And then after one of my friends was like, "Why don't you just do it?" And word got around that I was making a song live, which I did not market that way. And then everybody just filed into that library room. And that's when I made the first song. And it got like 2,000 plays in one night, which was pretty big at like 17.
Oh yeah,
But
2,000 plays, man. We wish we could get 2,000 plays on our podcast right now.
Wait. So how did they get you to? How did they know to reach out to you? Be like, hey, I got a beat. Why don't you?
Also, I was making all the beats by myself. It's just
okay.
word got around that this guy's gonna make a song live, which was
Oh,
never
shit.
which
Oh,
was never the plan. So I
Yeah,
was there sitting in the room and just made that song, and then from then on I was like, okay, let's see if I can make another one. Made another one, and then really started to take it serious in the past 3 years, I would say. And that's when I started to get on major platforms like Spotify, Apple.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess what got you into it in the first place?
Honestly, at 16 when I did pick it up, originally the plan was just to go into medicine. And then one day I got done with my homework early, and at the library just picked up the laptop, and I was like, okay, let's see what GarageBand is. Just started to make a beat, and I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. And at that time I was listening to Metro Booming a lot, so I was just trying to replicate that beat. Yeah. And just started making more beats, and then the word got around that I'm a beat maker, and then other people who were trying to be rappers, they contacted me. But then, it didn't really work out, so I just evolved into the artist role afterwards.
So I'm gonna guess you started out with SoundCloud, I guess.
Yeah.
Because I think most artists start out on SoundCloud, and then until like they have like an album or a single,
Yeah.
then they'll probably move on to to other streaming services. But like, I don't think like a lot of those opportunities even existed back then, right? Like there was no easy way to like share your music or publish your music to. I think iTunes had it, but I
Yeah.
think it was all really weird, right?
No, funny thing is, there was no plan to go on SoundCloud. I was just posting the beats to listen to it back for myself, because there was no way to save it, because it was on a
SoundCloud?
library. Yeah, it was on a library laptop. So every day I'd make it, post it, and then go about my day. And then long term, I did some more research, like how to get on Spotify, Apple.
That's pretty
And,
cool.
yeah.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, to his credit, like, most of those artists don't get off of SoundCloud. Like, that's why we hear those terms of, like, SoundCloud rapper. And now, like, he's here with 2 albums and, like, on multiple streaming platforms like Spotify, YouTube Music, or pretty much anywhere under the sun. So, like, big ups to you.
Thanks,
but
man.
I do have to ask, I see you started in 2019 with like your music with the song Notice.
Yeah.
And then now we're hearing Play This So You'll Know in November of 2023. Great album, by the way. Like, I have lots of favorites. Like, I genuinely love, what do you call it? Stay With Me, Know Yourself, 8 Hours to Toronto.
8 hours is so good.
Thank
Never
you.
been to Toronto, but I feel like I'm there. And Fall Nights, man, like, just it gets.
I
you
like
in
that
the
one.
feeling.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll give you this, right? Like, one of the things I really enjoyed about it is like a dime a dozen people who are like, hey, I can be the next rapper, right? Your music, whether it's intentional or unintentional,
Yeah.
it's very soulful. Like, it speaks to you. You get put into some kind of mood, and then you mix it up along the way,
Yeah.
right? And that's the thing I really liked about it. And that's the thing that, like, I mean, shit, gives me the rewatch or re-listen.
Yeah,
ability
replay
to-
value.
Yeah,
I
replay value.
appreciate it. Yeah.
So we clearly see like the same MalharB from 2019 is not the same MalharB that's in front of us.
Yeah.
So talk to us a little bit about that music progression. Like what changed?
Well, obviously you get a lot better. The biggest thing was technicality, was writing a proper song. That was a big thing that I did struggle with up until I think January of last year when I put out No Handout. I was working with one of Drake's engineers, and I just asked him, because during that time of my career, I was just looking for some validity of someone to tell me like, yo, you are actually good. So I was just constantly asking everybody, and I asked him like, yo, what did you think of the song? And he's like, well, you have everything. You have the sound, the beat, the voice, but the format of the song is not there. So he's like, you got to work on the format. I'm like, okay. So went back to the drawing board for a whole year and put out the music video for that song. And I was just sitting in a whole year just thinking like, how do I learn this?
Yeah, how do you that was going on in my head. Like,
Yeah.
what is
Yeah.
what is the format? Like what is like how do you structure a song? Like how does it usually go? Can you give us like a
Yeah.
like a very layman's term
Yeah.
way
So
of, like,
usually,
Do you use a formula or something? Yeah.
No.
Like, I mean,
so
is
so
it the
usually
Pythagoras theorem?
No,
is this
no,
finally
no,
are we
no.
using it for
No.
something?
No, so there's like a couple formulas. Like, so sometimes it's you can start off with the verse, pre-chorus, chorus, verse, or you could do pre-chorus, go straight up to the chorus. So a big one is like Blinding Lights. You go straight to Blinding Lights. There's no time wasted.
Okay.
So that format, I just started listening to a lot of music over and over again, because there's no one like sitting down with me. I'm like, okay, here's how you break down this T-Pain song. There's no one doing that. So for a whole year, I was just doing that, and subconsciously, it just clicked. So when I started to make this album, the format was always there. So that was a big thing compared to 2019.
So I know you said mentioned T-Pain and like Blinding Lights with like The Weeknd
Yeah,
and stuff. What would you say are like the artists that made you or inspired MalharB?
Yeah, production wise, I definitely look at every Metro Boomin song. I feel like he's such a catalyst as a producer. When you listen to a Metro song, you know that it's different than any trap song.
How do you feel about off topic a little bit, but how do you feel about his live concerts that are going on?
That was crazy. That's something that you aspire to do. And it's so coincidental that he has used orchestral instruments.
Yeah,
that was just such a coincidence.
Because genuinely, his work with the
Yeah, Spider-Man.
with the Spider-Man franchise,
Yeah.
has been amazing.
Yeah.
All the 2 albums that are out, I played them on repeat when they came out. The movies were phenomenal.
Yeah.
And just to see that live and him working with multiple artists, and what do you feel about the change in the role of a producer nowadays?
I feel like it's needed. Before, looking back to the days, you were always waiting on an artist. That's what a producer's life essentially runs on. And for producers like Metro and ATL Jacob and all these, headlining guys now that are coming up, they don't have to wait. You could be like Hit Boy and just hop on a song, call all the artists that you do know, make a song with Big Sean. So
Yeah.
big ups to them. Yeah.
So as looking at your song, doing a deep dive and just listening to it, as a fan, even before meeting you, there's clearly themes of love and heartbreak.
Yeah.
And how has that changed through your journey, and how has that affected you personally?
So when you listen to the album, you're gonna think that I'm talking about a girl from top to bottom.
You're talking about the latest album.
Oh yeah. Sorry, the latest
I
album.
definitely
Yeah,
got that vibe. I'll be real. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
definitely. But I was obviously the album. I don't want it to impose what it means to me. So you have to listen to it this way. That's why I didn't want to say it when it first came out. But I wrote it in the sense I'm talking to music in the form of a girl. So it was a summary of my relationship with music over the past couple of years.
Nice.
Where there were highs, there were lows, and then, music requires a lot of commitment, and you get a lot of highs, all the compliments, how people look at you. So there was a certain point I'm like, whoa, I didn't know that this requires this much commitment.
Yeah.
I was just in it for, the ride. And I was like, I love the compliments, but I'm like, whoa, this is, you see the full route.
Yeah, you're fucking around versus
Really taking
it all the way.
Yeah, so
That's
it
pretty
was
cool.
that acceptance. That's why the vibe shifts after the interlude on the album. And the interlude was the last song just because I was telling music, this is the last song I'm going to sing to you because I'm done. And then it moves on into confidence that I didn't need the compliments from music. It was always in me.
Yeah.
Music doesn't give me this. It's me.
Oh, okay. That's so okay. I did not. Now it just opened up so many.
yeah.
The structure,
now I'm thinking
the
about
structure
it, right?
of the album
yeah.
makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
That was-
Yeah.
I was talking to these guys before too. I was like, it's actually really interesting how it's organized because I'm like, it would have been wild if he put this song a little bit deeper into the album because obviously every album is not going to have just a bunch of high hype, high intensity songs.
Yeah.
But it felt like it was a little zigzaggy. But now when you put that as it's more of a journey.
Yeah.
I get it. Makes more sense for sure.
Absolutely. And I could have easily just done like a up energy order, easy listen.
Yeah.
But I don't know, for the first complete body of work, I didn't want to just jeopardize that. And it was more for me. But definitely on the following projects, it'll be much more of an easier listen.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's next for you, man?
Release planned?
No, just just in general, what do you you dropped this album?
Yeah.
What's MalharB doing next?
Well, off of coming off the album, I really wanted to. I have these 2 SoundCloud songs. It's called "Long Days" and "My Time," and I wanted to make a mashup music video, which no one's ever done. So that's a music video with both songs, and it just so happens to be that in Long Days, it's more of a grateful message, be grateful that you're on Earth. even though it's shit sometimes. And then My Time is more of like an upbeat, energetic, confident song. So I'm planning that music video for next year, and then I also have a 3-song EP, which is straight funk music, like disco.
That's pretty cool. Okay, that's
yeah. So I'm just trying to hit like all the barriers,
Yeah.
just to satisfy everyone, because a lot of people are like, "Oh, you're rapping too much. Oh, you're singing too much." So I'm just trying to, satisfy
So you're
everybody.
trying to find your groove, essentially. Like you're trying to like cater to everyone at the same time, but
Yeah.
at the same time you're like, I'm gonna do it my way.
Absolutely.
Like, be true to
Yeah.
yourself.
Be true.
Yeah.
Being true. Yeah. So I have a question for you. What is your relationship between your artistic persona, like MalharB, versus Malhar Brahmbhatt, who is at home, like
Yeah.
the son to your mom, and
Yeah.
basically that guy. Like, how does your art mask you or reveal you
Yeah, the
from
Marshall
like,
Mathers, Eminem kind of thing. Slim Shady.
Yeah, I had that in my mind coming on. I was like, it's super hard because I don't have a stage name to hide behind. I don't have a switch that I can be like, okay, it's time, like, Drake time. No, I can't do that. I can't. And you'll be like, why didn't you choose a stage name?
Wait, so
One,
you're a
yeah.
diva like this just in general? I have to tell the listeners, as soon as he came into the studio, he's like, this is what you call a studio?
Did not say that. No.
Yeah, we had
No,
to
we're
go
just
buy.
joking.
Yeah, we had to go buy special drinks just. To
Yeah, like
No,
we're like,
no,
oh my
no.
god, we gotta get this guy sparkling water. Like he only drinks Voss. Like,
No.
Just, I'm playing.
But yeah, no, I don't have a stage name to hide behind. And one, it's super hard to pick a stage name. I don't think a lot of people realize that.
Yeah.
To really
Oh
satisfy.
man, think about the amount of time we spent just thinking of the name of this pod.
Yeah.
we had to rebrand it already?
Yeah. And another thing is like whatever name you choose is kind of has to coordinate with your sound. So that was a big issue. I'm like, I don't even know my sound at 2019 when I was 19 or 18. So I just chose like just the brand is to be real. So I'm like, how real can it be if it's just my name?
I have
So,
to ask, like around the time you started, you said you were in
Yeah.
college or high school actually.
Yeah.
Did the thought ever occur to you of being like, oh, let me name myself like these mainstream artists, and like I'll call myself Little B.
Yeah.
Or like little B on the block or something, Malu.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like.
Oh, did
I
the thought
like
occur?
Malu.
Huh?
Yeah. No, definitely. I had so many like names. Like I was thinking Astro for one, and I was like, oh, I want to be the highest guy, because I was heavily influenced by Chief Keef at young age. So
Did you like you have a Chicago background?
Yeah.
Did you live that life?
of what?
Like like you said, you're
Gang life? No.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I just
No.
Is it fair to say that like MalharB is kind of like a work in progress kind of name?
No,
Or
that name's
that's it?
staying.
That's
That
it?
name's staying. Yeah.
Nice.
Like
I
now,
like it.
a lot of uncles have came up, be like, "Hey, maybe you should rebrand and find a better name
Nice, yeah.
for."
I would say, man, stick to it. The only work
American
in
people."
progress is us, right? Like we're the only ones that always need to be working there, right? So.
He's like, I can see that from the shitty studio.
No.
But I know you said a little bit about like future projects and
Yeah.
like music videos and stuff. I saw the music video for No Handouts. Like it seemed like you're surrounded by a lot of love. Like lots
Yeah.
of people came out and like it was just aesthetically beautiful. Like how did
Thanks,
that come
man.
about?
That came out just. I've always wanted my first music video to have some relation to where I am. So even if you don't know me, if you saw the video, you can get a hint to like, okay, who is he? What does he rep and where is he from? And I feel like I got all those involved because I have my Toyota in there. And I have the few people that did show out, and then bowling. Like I like bowling, so the bowling was in there.
That's
And,
pretty cool.
But yeah, like no, you talked about a lot of support and everything, and like I know a phrase that I've heard thrown around a lot is that like it takes a village. Normally, it's about like teamwork and all this
Yeah.
stuff, and like tell us about like the support you got, like the team, like family, friends, like what's
Yeah.
the clan for MalharB?
Yeah, definitely. So, how this music, well, specifically how that video did come about, it was a lot of people had a hand in it. The bowling place, it was called Kings, and there's 2 locations, one in Rosemont and one in downtown where we got the venue.
It's like
And-
the Chicago area.
Yeah, Chicago. Sorry. And so when I called Kings, not to out them, but like the video's out.
Name drop 'em.
So when I called Rosemont, I'm like, yo, can I rent the venue for like a video shoot? And they're like, no videos. I'm like, okay, how about a closed event where only one person has a camera? And they're like, no. I'm like, okay, that's fine. Then I made my girlfriend call the downtown location. Immediately, yes. And and I just felt like that was so sexist. Like, just because a guy's calling.
That's awesome.
So, yeah, so from then on, I just let her handle all the external communication.
So she's your manager.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's that person we would contact.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
we should contact from now on.
Yeah. And then finding the venue was, and then one of my other friends.
Okay.
Yeah, and then during like 3-4 years ago, my laptop was dead, and I was updating it on a university Wi-Fi, which was a big mistake. And at that time, I didn't back up my music, like all the music that I made.
Oh no.
So when I was updating, my laptop completely crashed, because I guess you're not supposed to do that on a public Wi-Fi. And one of my friends, he's like, yo, let's go to Best Buy. And then a couple of them said, let's go to Apple. So all 5 or 6 of us showed up at Apple, and coincidentally, everybody was dressed in black besides me.
Oh
So
my God.
I got priority because everybody thought that I was some guy pulling up. And they immediately took my laptop, and they're like, yo, there's nothing we can do about it. Sorry. So I go take it to my friend again. We're like, what's wrong? Is this it?
This is my career.
Because I can't remake it. I have no
Yeah.
knowledge of that. So he takes about like a week to get it back, and then he just brings me back my laptop like it's brand new with everything. And I was like,
snap.
Oh, a happy
Yeah.
ending to the story. Okay.
Yeah.
So you
Dude-
had the
dude, definitely.
anti-Kanye experience where the friend didn't take your music, he gave it back to you.
Yeah. But definitely a lot of people had a hand in this for sure.
That's so
Yeah.
cool. That's
Yeah.
actually a really cool story.
Yeah.
If you think about it, like I
Shout
mean,
out to that friend.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like not to just like dive too deep into your personal life and grill you a little bit, but like I know we talked about your tribe a little bit. So how was the relationship in terms of music with like your parents? I know like, you know, art is not really something that is looked upon in like a positive light in our community, unfortunately, especially in a South Asian community. So how has that journey been like? Because I know you said you wanted to be a doctor,
Yeah.
and now, you know, we took a slight right turn into music. So how has that been?
No, I think all the South Asian artists that do come from like a working class family would relate to this story. Just because in high school, when I did show, like I'm not a stupid kid. I showed signs like, okay, I could be a doctor, and then took some medical classes in high school, enjoyed them. That was a big factor that everybody was like, okay, yeah, he enjoys it. It's not, he's not just good at it.
You
So
also
there's a
got
lot
the
of-
Braugher in for it too.
Yeah. So, yeah, my mom particularly was not happy when I was like, this could be something. Granted, looking back, absolutely she was so right, because just because your 16-year-old son is making beats on a library laptop does not mean you get to throw away everything.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, I
So-
wouldn't let my kid do
Absolutely.
that either. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, no, and then as I progressed higher in high school, sometime about junior, senior year, I got my own laptop, and then that's when I just started not doing anything in school. I was just making beats in English class specifically, I remember. And still getting work done. I was gonna graduate, but but then my dad was super supportive, just on the possibility, like, you know, maybe he could do it, because my dad had opportunities, but there was no one to tell him, yo, this could actually happen. So looking back, he had all the support system, he had all the connects to make it. It's just his parents never pushed him, like, you know, maybe this could happen, do it. So that was like the big duality in my life, that I have no connects and I have the drive. My dad had all the connects, but no drive.
Do you think that he didn't have the drive, or do you think that his situation or circumstances were very different where he couldn't pursue that drive? Because a lot of times,
Yeah.
like immigrant parents usually run into that situation where they have to kind of let go of their dreams just so they can, like, you know, provide, or
Yeah.
you know, like what do you think? Like, do you think it was like a share that he had the opportunities, but he just didn't want to do it
Yeah.
because it was the easy way of not doing it, or like, I mean,
Yeah, so I've
Yeah.
asked him like different stages in life if he ever did think that was that a possibility, and he's like, his mindset was never I could do it. His mindset was just like, just living life. Like, he never took it serious. He never thought that it was a possibility.
Yeah.
You know, looking back now, when I'm telling him, you know,
Yeah.
I could do this. Now he's thinking, okay, at that point, it was definitely a possibility. He had connects. He just didn't take the initiative because he was just living life. And obviously just going with the, you know,
Yeah.
motion. You know,
Remy,
getting married.
are you first generation American?
Yeah.
Yeah, that the immigrant parents, it's just, it sucks because there's a lot of wasted potential in that
Yeah,
case.
definitely.
And it's like, you know, you're providing, and you were born here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like I'm an immigrant, and so I was not born here, and so he, you know, they couldn't take as many chances as we could, right? Like
Yeah.
they couldn't fail. Right,
Absolutely,
like
yeah.
and, you know, I'd like to think that we're blessed enough where,
Yeah.
you know, we have partners, and I have like my parents to fall back on. Where
Mm-hmm.
if I do take a chance and it doesn't go the way I want
Yeah.
it to, we have something to fall back on. And it just wasn't there before,
Yeah.
right? And it sucks, right?
Yeah.
It sucks.
No, definitely.
Because like it would have been kind of cool. And I will say, I think you talked about this in one of your songs.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Right?
It was the
Okay.
last one. It was the
Yeah,
talk.
because
Yeah.
I remember hearing about this, and I'm like,
Yeah.
holy shit! Like
Yeah.
now that you talk about it, it's pretty.
So
Absolutely.
I have a question about it. So then would you, in the future, would you like to do a feature with your dad?
Yeah, I'd love to. It's just trying to find the right beat, you know, the
Yeah,
topic,
yeah.
all that has to be right for him. I mean, he's good to go. It's just for me, I have to find
I mean,
the right
you'll have
one.
to do all the creative.
Absolutely, yeah,
And
yeah.
get him ready for that. But
Yeah.
And I think you
Yeah.
want to do justice when it comes to
Yeah.
that, like where you're
Yeah.
like, I want it to be something that like
Yeah.
I know people will love, I know people will listen to.
Yeah.
I want him to have that feeling. So
I could easily sample him, you know, like tomorrow and then make a song, but it's not going to mean like, wow, it's me and my dad on a song. You
Okay.
know, it's not like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So your first single when you release it with like
With
a
my
big
dad.
artist, like it will be you, Drake, and your dad.
I don't think so, but but no,
Like,
it would
yeah,
definitely
Drake's,
be
Drake's not really in the same category as me.
no.
Imagine like Drake's opening up for MalharB. He's like, hey, thanks for listening. I want this shit forever. Now let's give it up for MalharB.
Yeah.
Oh man, I think I'd be opening up for him, but we'll see. Definitely, yeah. No, going back to wasted potential. There's been a lot of moments in my family where, as you get older, you know, you kind of find the real stuff about your family because you're older and your parents are opening
Yeah.
up more. So I got to know that there's more family members other than my dad who could have done something on my mom's side, on my dad's side.
Oh.
So finding this out at like 18, 19, that like gives you even more fire. Like, okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not stopping for anything then. That really played a big motivation factor to just keep on going and like fuel for the
Yeah.
down days.
What was his sound like? They knew that you were trying to get into like kind of like more of like the. I'm gonna generalize this,
Yeah.
rap, hip hop, soul,
Yeah.
whatever. But what was like his sound? Or his
Sound
flow, yeah.
well, so back then they were just doing covers of straight Bollywood songs,
Oh, cool. Okay.
right? So and then he was also singing Garba,
Oh, shit,
Yeah.
nice. Okay.
Okay.
but there was like two avenues for him that he could have blew
So-
up in.
Yeah.
For people who don't know, Garba's like a folk song kind of a thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but his goal was to go on to become a playback. Like that's what he wanted
His
to do.
vision was.
Yeah, his
Okay.
vision. Yeah,
That's really interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, so like, you know, like we realize that like, you know, looking into your stuff and talking to you beforehand,
Yeah.
that like it's all you. Like
Yeah.
there's nothing else. Like there's no studio, there's no like, you know, there's a manager, but that's your girlfriend.
yeah,
Right? Like
Booking venues.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
And like there's no one like bankrolling you. There's no big corporation.
No, yeah.
It's all you. And then I know like to appease your parents, I saw on your LinkedIn you just graduated. So congrats on that.
Oh, thank you.
Oh,
Thank
congrats,
you.
man. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
But like, how do you manage that?
Yeah, no, it's definitely been tough just because it's only so much you can do with working hourly wages, roughly between like $15 to maximum 18, you know, including like 3-month internships that I've done. So majority of the moves that I've made in the past 2 years came from when I started doing internships because that was the most money I've made, $18 an hour. So other than that, it's just like steady stacking your cash with, you know, enterprise where I worked part-time. But it's definitely been tough just because, you know, there's no one calling the shots for me. It's always like, if you want a music video, go ahead and think about it. You know, no one asks like, what's the next move now? Like, it's always me planning out the agenda, and it just comes down to like so much self-belief, almost to like damn near delusion.
And there's no roadmap, right?
So,
like,
yeah, no,
you're creating
no roadmap.
yourself, and you're like you were saying, right? Like it's all self-directed.
Yeah.
And it sounds easy on paper, like I am my own boss, that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. But dude, then you got to like manage yourself.
Absolutely. No,
So
and
I
it
respect
sucks.
a lot of that for you.
Thank you. And nobody even tells you like, oh, register your own music, you know, so nobody can steal it, even though it's out on, you know, Spotify or whatnot. But, you know, not everyone knows, but you got to register your music with the government, so the government knows that this song is yours.
I did not know this was a thing.
Because it's, you know, it's like intellectual property at that point.
So
no
I
one
thought it
can
was
steal
intellectual property, but
Yeah.
unless because you uploaded it to like,
I thought it was like an
all the
implicit
places.
thing.
Yeah.
I thought it was an implicit thing. Wow.
Yeah.
So all these things, like, I could have easily got my song stolen, but, you know, you just look at other people's failures and you learn. And that's the biggest way that I've been moving, like looking in the past, like, yo, why didn't this artist blow up, or why did they fall off, you know, and just looking at their route just to keep on going. But definitely been tough. Like, I wouldn't recommend it for anybody.
There's so much pain in your eyes.
I know. This one's such a different, like, this literally followed a parabola. It was like, oh, like, awesome, love it, great time. Yeah, please don't do this.
I'm my own boss. You gotta manage yourself.
I've
Hate
never
me.
once thought that, by the way, that, oh, I was like, you know, it's all me. It's all my own boss, you know, Rick Ross type. No, not at all. Not at all.
So,
Yeah.
okay, I have like one last question,
Yeah.
really, right? Like, what I was saying was like, how do you break up your day, right? Like, because student,
Yeah.
record, you know, like
Yeah.
spending time in the studio, you're an artist,
Yeah.
right? I mean, you're managing obviously people, right? Because
Yeah.
you want to record you want to film a video, music video, that kind of stuff. How do you keep this all in check?
Definitely. My best times are my busiest times. Like, it's easiest when it is busy.
Bars.
Just because. Thanks. Just because if, like, right now, as I'm just graduated, I'm not on anything right now. I'm just chilling at home. No matter how much I can sit on my laptop and play the beats on loop, nothing's coming out because I'm constantly thinking about that. So if I'm in school and my schedule's packed or my internship, that's the best time. And that's when I made the album, during my internship, just because I'm 8 hours of the day, it's just like focused on the internship. And then I'm waiting to get home,
Okay.
you know?
Yeah.
So
No, I feel that.
Yeah, but creative wise, it's the best time for me is like when I wake up. And a lot of people are like, oh yeah, you know, nighttime is super vibey and this and that. No, it's not. I'm also a human. I'm tired, bro. I just want to go to bed. There's no like vibey session going on.
Yeah. Like, you're not sleeping in, right? And so like wake up at like 1 or 2 and be like, okay, well, you know, 10 o'clock hits and I'm about to hit my second win. No, you're like, you know what? I'm going to sleep.
So you don't have a studio full with like your closest friends just like smoking, partying in the back?
No,
just
no, I
lay out
hate
a
that.
couple
No, I
bars?
actually don't like anybody in the room when I'm making it, just because it's like a vulnerable experience. Because I don't know what I'm like what I'll be making.
Yeah.
If I'll be making something super therapeutic or, you know, romantic or whatever it is. It's
Yeah.
like more of like a virtual diary with my laptop.
I get you.
Okay.
And it's actually interesting that you brought up that, you mentioned that, you know, it's something that you do other things, and then that gets the juices flowing, right?
Yeah.
Like there's a famous case where like Albert Einstein worked in a patent office, and that's where he came up with this theory of general relativity, which
Yeah.
revolutionized physics and all that stuff. It's just like it shows you like the power of, I forget what the term is for, like when you're not, your peripheral memory or your
Yeah.
peripheral thinking.
Yeah.
And so like it's interesting that it applies here as well.
Definitely.
Yeah, thank you so much for providing us an insight into like your life as an artist and like your own personal life, man. I think that was actually very rewarding as a listener to get that insight, especially like with the music and being like, oh, this person lives a, you know, like a regular life like everyone else, and then still creates and has like these thoughts. And like this album, like, you know, changing our perception in the studio of being like, oh, it's a love letter to music itself.
Yeah.
Because we did have that question of like,
Yeah.
hey, why is there like an ending song in the middle of the album?
Yeah.
And bro, like, think about how many times you wake up, or how many weeks, or how many days in a year you're like, man, I should record an album, right? And then we know when once you start putting to it, you're like, oh my god, this is really hard to fucking do,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I was like, you know, you have shower thoughts, and you're like, oh, like this will sound really good, and then you start putting pen to paper, and you're like, yeah, I'm not talented at all.
I'm just imagining your thought process. You're like, I'm gonna wake up, take care of my little girl, do business, kill it, quick bars. Go into the studio, quick bars.
The only bars in my life are bars of soap. Man. That's it, bro.
Like quick
Bars.
bars. Grab some dinner, take care of my little girl again. Night. Like, that's and rinse.
Repeat.
We've recently started bedtime, or bedtime stories. So
Yeah.
those are the only rhymes
like,
in my
hey,
life, bro.
You're like, hey, you want to know? You want to hear Daddy's bars? Some super hot fire.
Here are my nursery rhymes.
Yeah.
All right, so I have one last question before we wrap up grilling you. So the question I have is basically, what are your thoughts on the music generated by like AI and stuff? Like, I know there have been like a bunch of things, right? Like AIVA, which is more of a assistant tool for the artist. Then there's Beethoven AI, which is like helps create beats and stuff. And then there's also like Google, I think, launched their own version called Music FX or something like that. And fun fact, we use Music FX and it generated the music for us for our podcast itself. What do you think about AI in general, and do you think it's a threat, or do you think like it takes away the creativity, or give me like what you would want to use AI with? But at the same time, like, do you think AI has a place with music or creativity in general? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
I think this is like a 3-part answer, but strictly from like an artist standpoint, no, like it's horrible, just because. One, you could steal someone's voice because now you got to patent all that stuff.
Yeah.
And that's super hard to do.
I was actually going to ask about that because Grimes was like just blatantly like, hey, I'm just going to just give me a cut.
Yeah.
But take my voice for whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah. I mean, there's also artists like that too who are like, at this point, we need money. Roll it in. But if you're like a major selling act, you know, now your label has to go track down all that stuff. So that's a big threat.
That happened with like Drake, Travis Scott, and 21 Savage, right? Like, I don't know if you guys heard, but like there's this major artist, I think he started off on TikTok, called Ghostwriter, and he's made music with the voice of Drake.
Yeah, so
Travis
he's
Scott.
like,
It's
there's
pretty
no
good, right?
Yeah,
What
yeah,
I thought.
yeah. So it's not, the AI is not making the songs. Like, you make the songs, but you get their voices with AI, right?
Yeah.
So from a producer standpoint, this could be super helpful because now you can tell AI to write them, let's say like a 21 melody, you know, and now you have that 21 melody, boom, you start making your beats. Now you can make 10 times more beats than you can before because now you don't gotta have to think of the melody. The third part, consumers like you could just go to AI and like, I would like a hip hop-ish tropical beat.
Yeah.
Thanks. Boom. Now you have a royalty-free, you know,
Yeah.
beat. So in that sense, yeah, it's super helpful. And also for people who are trying to learn, this would have been super helpful at 16, right? But from an artist standpoint, no, it's horrible.
But okay, so then again, like, what if AI can create music separately?
Yeah.
It can mimic voices.
Yeah.
Separately. It can also do just creating verses and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Based on like if you give it that, hey, I want a song just like Seasons by MalharB. Can you give me like a version of that? It can create a song.
I know, that's what's scary. And that's what takes away from art. You know, I don't think technology, like robots and art, is supposed to cross paths like ever. You know, it's supposed to stay as authentic because that's something that's special to us. You know, animals can't do it. I don't think computers can make relatable art. It's like, you got to feel that, you know?
Okay.
And so to adapt, it feels like the whole form of art is likely to change. As generative AI, all that stuff, as it comes in, there's one type of art form there, then and we as humans who can adapt without any kind of machine learning needed.
Yeah. I definitely think it's going to go the opposite, where authentic music and live music will be seen as a commodity when there's so much saturation in the market of just techno music or AI music, because we'll get an ear for it that, oh, this was AI. I don't know if you guys have heard like so many AI songs, but like now you can tell like this is definitely like an AI verse. It's not a Kanye verse or whatever.
Interesting. I don't think I've heard enough to differentiate, but
yeah.
So, we actually did an activity like in our planning meeting, and where we're like, okay, let's get in the headspace of MalharB.
Great.
And write a verse. We tried to do, so our inspiration was Stay With Me.
Okay.
So what do you think about this verse? There's a verse and then there's a chorus. I could give you that, right?
Yeah.
Which one did you like to hear first? Chorus or verse?
Let's go chorus first.
Chorus. It's like, stay with me where the fireflies ignite, dance in the embers of this fading night. Let the music drown the city's cry, just you and me beneath the velvet sky.
Okay, let's hear verse.
Verse number 1, it's like neon city whispers, secrets in the haze, lonely taxi shadows painting on the maze, street lights bleeding yellow like the dreams we chase, but your eyes, they cut through the darkness, light up my lost space.
Okay. Like, do you want my strict opinion
Yeah,
on it?
yeah,
Okay. Oh, I think there's just like too much imagery words, like too much of a vivid picture is painted in my mind, and the first thing that comes to my mind is like a New York night, you know, from like Curious George. That's just what comes to mind.
So he
And-
just called us childish. He said you guys...
oh, if you guys wrote this was not bad. I thought this was straight AI.
So it is.
Okay.
So
I didn't want to be that douche. Just go, oh, wow.
So I
Comes on the
asked AI
podcast.
to create a like I asked...
You had
first
to
asked-
throw a city name in that prompt, right?
No, none. So what I did is I asked like, hey, do you know an artist by the name of MalharB? And it's like,
Oh, also, it rhymes too much.
Yeah.
There's way
nursery
too much
rhyme
rhyming.
vibes.
Yeah. Oh, okay. But yeah, it just rhymes too much.
Yeah, so I just asked the AI, like, do you know the artist MalharB? And it was like, yeah, like, here are the songs, here's everything. And I'm like, can you write me a song like that MalharB would write, something like Stay With Me?
That's ass. No, because see, this is a great example that AI will not know social norm. Who says Velvet Skies? Don't act like you say Velvet Sky
I
now.
don't say Velvet
don't
Sky.
say that.
No, but
Personally, I'm more
Would
of a velour kind of guy, but yeah, whatever.
wouldn't it be fun? Like it's a dope thing to say though. Is
A
it
Velvet Sky?
Velvet Sky? Is it like
We've never heard that.
So here's the thing. I heard it in the flow of Stay With Me, and I'm like, it can kind of go right because
Okay.
honestly, the whole thing's
Alright.
that a lot of
Yeah.
syllables fit. Like you have a good beat and flow in that song.
Yeah.
where a lot of stuff can go.
Yeah.
and that I think that's a testament to that. Like
Okay.
a lot of the stuff sounded good still in my head.
Okay. Maybe I'm just over analytical with lyrics. I'm
I
like,
don't think
nobody's gonna
but
say
you're
this
the
shit.
owner, right? Like you know
how it works.
everything that you tried and didn't work, and you're like, no, I don't want this here. I don't
Yeah.
want this here. I want this, right? So
Yeah.
like for us, it's like, dude, a lot of it's gonna sound good.
1, 2, 3, 4. Dude, put that shit in.
Yeah, like, you know, just after the office, quick bars, Velvet Skies. No, but that's what I mean, right? Like, that's why, like, I thought this was important because it really showed that, like, even without knowing, you're kind of like, this is trash. Like, you know, you were being so nice when you thought it was us a little bit, but you're like, I could see from your
I
face.
thought it was a setup.
Yeah, you were like, this is not good. It rhymes
Yeah.
too much. It's
Yeah.
like there's too much imagery. It's like,
Yeah.
yo, I'm not trying to watch a movie in my own head.
Yeah.
It was a little. It was
And that
too
human,
artificial.
yeah, that's my point. Like you'll never know. Like AI will never come to a point where it's like it'll completely know how to write a solid, you know.
I wonder
Poem
if
or something.
I wonder if his like perspective will change when, like, you know, what do you call it? Skynet comes alive and there's a gun to his head. It's like, what do you like about my Velvet Skies now, MalharB? And it's like, oh, dude, it's so good. I love that it rhymes so much.
No, I would completely backtrack if Ultron pops up. He's very scary.
But awesome, man. Like so, I think we got a good view of one, who MalharB is, who Malhar Brahmbhatt is, and also what goes into his music. And honestly, I'll be honest, like going in, I knew I'm not an artist. I'm not a recording artist. I'm not anything that like right. Coming out of this, I am even less. So typically what we do here is like we'll do a couple news rounds.
Okay.
We'll do a couple other things, and these guys will introduce some stuff too. But what I'll do is I'll just run through a couple things I have this week.
Yeah.
And we can stop along the way and we can talk about it, and obviously chime in as you feel
For sure.
anything that strikes you. So I'm gonna go just in random order this time. I didn't have enough time to plan. As I mentioned, it was my birthday this week, guys, so I've been kind of hungover the whole week. But so first, the Fed decided not to raise rates, and going off of the whole mortgage shit I was talking about last week, they expect to cut rates next year to about drop it about 75 basis points or 0.75%. So I don't know if you guys follow sports as much, but in baseball, a record contract was signed this week. Okay. Or an agreement to sign. So Shohei Ohtani, a Japanese baseball, I think he plays on the Phillies right now.
Angels.
Angels. And he agreed to sign an agreement with the LA Dodgers for a record contract, okay? So the previous record was signed by Michael Trout on going to the Angels. 12 years, $426.5 million.
God damn.
Okay. And 12 years, right? And so that, I think that runs out in 2030, I think is what it is, right?
Soon, yeah.
So he signed it like about 5 years ago. This one is 10 years for $700 million, okay? 700. Now put that into perspective here, right? This guy will get $2 million every year for the next 10 years. And then after the 10th year, we'll get the other $680 million.
Yo.
That's money.
That's wild.
That's
I have to say
man.
that, like, I love the progression of different ethnicities in sports. I think, especially with baseball, I think it went from, like, you know, the Cuban and Puerto Rican players, and I think now it's like the Japanese players and coming and just dominating the sport.
Yeah, and I'll say it started with, and this is gonna date me. I don't know if you,
Yeah.
I'm not sure if any of you guys were alive at this point, really, but like there's one of the breakthrough Japanese players in the MLB was Ichiro Suzuki. I believe he was one of the fielders, but like he was on the Mariners, literally one of the best players on their team, and basically brought or Suzuki Ichiro, I forget which direction, right? And basically like kind of put Japanese players on the map. And I mean, they've been part of the sport for now 80 years.
It's huge over there.
Yeah, because and it started actually, unfortunately, the story's a little unfortunate where it started with internment camps during World War II, and so they didn't know what to do. And like during World War II, and we were fighting obviously Japan in California, in the West Coast was more prominent. They took them, they just basically rounded them up and put them in basically makeshift kind of concentration camps, and they didn't really have much else to do, so they took on the culture a little bit, and they learned to play baseball. I don't know when soccer and football kind of got there, but that's one thing.
Do you think this was like? I'm so sorry, but do you think this was another way for them to prevent another fat man? Just put their effort into.
They didn't know at
sports.
that point. No, this is before all the bombs were dropped.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Oh, Jesus. They didn't know, man. So that happened, right? And I think there was some like, he has a lot of power, actually. I mean, the power is to withdraw from the contract, and let's be real, if you're healthy and can play, why would you ever withdraw from this contract until you're done, right? Something like, like he can direct where charity funds go. If certain people leave the organization, he can pull back on the contract, that kind of stuff. And so there's a lot of stuff that he can do, but so that's another thing. Now, one of you guys shared this with me, but the most popular items for this holiday season in various states, every state was listed, and so I wanted to highlight a couple of them, right?
I think my favorite is the New York one.
Yeah, I was gonna highlight that one. It's like New York's like, hey, listen, we're a little behind, so Google Nest. But
They want Google Nest, which makes no sense. Why is that like the most wished for item for Christmas?
I just got one.
I mean,
Are you in New York?
I will say the general themes are pretty consistent across the board. PlayStation 5s were on sale, so a lot of people got PlayStation 5s. I got one.
It was only by like $50. I hated that sale.
Really? Was that what it was?
Yeah,
Like,
it was only $50.
I
It's such
mean,
a
I
scam.
mean-
Don't. That was so.
So I
So
actually,
it is. So I will say this, right? Like the reason I was on board is I'm like, you know what? This is a reset to like what the new retail price is going to be, right? Like it's going to be about $350 to $400 now, right? And that's kind of what
PS5?
was it?
For PS5?
Yeah, it's probably going to be about that now. And if you throw a game in, maybe add on $50 to get $450.
So I actually had a different
Okay.
experience. I was one of those people that like decided to do things old-fashioned way and go out shopping. So like during midnight. So I actually got mine for $350. Like I bought one during Black Friday, and like they only had 2 at this Target location. I was lucky enough. It was literally like, it felt sad and nostalgic in a way where it was literally me and like a 10-year-old waiting, and I ran past that fucking kid and bought both of them.
I missed that sale completely. I would have bought it if it was $350.
it was. I bought myself one just so I can resell it, but then I ended up not reselling it and giving it to him.
No, he was nice about it. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Man.
I know he gave us
Thanks
some
for the
he gave us
update.
some guaranteed profit to sell it to me for what he paid for it.
I mean, it's like,
Yeah. Okay.
And I will say so mostly it's like the ones I'm really gonna judge are the ones where the state was really looking for Dyson Airwraps, a $500 hairdryer.
As a person who bought one of those for my wife, I say don't judge me, please.
I think it's bullshit. They don't even work internationally.
Yeah.
Hey, but it works in the United States. And where are we?
Wait. Hold on. If you don't use even if you use a converter, it doesn't work?
No, it doesn't because like a difference in voltage, it just does not allow you to do it.
Yeah, it makes sense. It's
Does
like
it work?
So it doesn't. It itself does not support
Yeah.
other voltage. Okay, I guess you know what? I'll say this: I don't use hair dryers, nor have I ever used hair
I
dryers.
mean, dude, it's fine if you do. Like, you gotta style your hair.
I want to
somehow.
start using it, but I need to understand how that thing works.
So
Like,
you
it's-
didn't buy your wife a gift; you just bought yourself a gift.
No, I got drunk after one of the pods, and I bought a pink hair dryer for myself for some reason.
But so I will say like the general themes were video game console, so PlayStation, or sorry, PS5s, Nintendo Switches, Xbox Series X or S, and randomly you saw like occasionally AirPods, iPads, iPhones. I'm just sitting there thinking, I'm judging, but then Rhode Island comes in with randomly a Garmin watch.
Oh, fuck?
Those are actually really big at PJ stores.
So, but my whole
Yeah,
thing,
that
that
makes
state is
sense.
tiny. Where are you looking? Like, what are you searching for? Right? That this is a tiny state. Like, we went there a few years back, and to go out to places, we left the state.
That's true. We had to leave the state to go out to a proper place. I mean, we were also on the edge of Rhode Island, so
Okay,
makes
yeah.
sense, but still.
Hey man, don't ruin
Nothing
our good
nearby.
story with facts. Perfect. And so moving on, right? And so a couple more. GameStop decided to try a new strategy with managing their cash. All right. So typically the rule of thumb is with your cash, you move it into either overnight treasuries, so you get like a few, some interest rates, and you get cash every day for the overnight rates, right? Or you put into a savings account, you put into something to earn money. What they decided to do was, hey, CEO Ryan Cohen, start day trading. And don't get me wrong, I'm fully a part of that. I'm in on that. So I bought a bunch of GameStop shares. I bought options, but that's the whole thing. But it's been doing okay. But that's aggressive, and the board had to approve it. And finally, I'm going to end it unfortunately on the sad note here. But Andre Braugher, best known for his role as Raymond Holt on Brooklyn Nine-Nine, passed away at the unfairly young age of 61. And I'll tell you right now, we've watched this show quite a few times, and this hits after, it hits a little hard especially after hearing about Matthew Perry and some of the other things that have happened this year. Like this sucks.
Yeah, R.I.P. man.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's something that is like just recently happened. I think almost it has been like about 24 hours, and I just still can't believe it. He's like, Captain Holt is no more. Like, I really was secretly hoping that there will be like a reunion episode or whatever, but now I don't hope that, because an episode without Captain Holt is just not an episode.
Yeah.
For a second, I thought like this is a joke. Like this is them preparing for like another Halloween heist. Like this is his way of surprising all of them.
That would be on brand too. Damn it. I know. And I've been getting TikTok. So the one recent TikTok I got. Oh man. And here's the problem. I'm watching Friends still. I'm almost done. I'm actually like halfway through season 9 now.
Oh, almost done,
and
yeah.
now, of course, now that I'm almost done, something else happens where after at least I'm rewatching this show, and I saw Holt and Peralta's last conversation, and you're just sitting there like that's some father figure talk, and it just hits different now.
Have you seen Leave the World Behind? It's a new
No.
Netflix show.
It's been showing up a lot on my feed, but no, not yet.
No, I only brought that up because Friends is a really common theme throughout the movie. Really deep meaning after you watch the movie, you look into it. But basically, I'm not gonna spoil it, but it's basically about a family going to an Airbnb, and the internet shuts off, and they don't know what's going on. So it's very filmed similarly to Bird Box, and it's like a Bird Box moment. Like you either like it or you don't like it,
Okay. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, and it's produced by Obama, and apparently he gave
What the fuck?
yeah, a bunch of directorial tips to make it even like more thriller like. So a lot of people are like looking too deep into it as a conspiracy theory, like, oh, this is gonna happen, and he's like warning us.
Yeah. I was like, well, I mean, there's a lot of conspiracy theories. A lot of like people genuinely believe that like the president knows, or former presidents know too
for
much,
sure.
right? So he's just like, this is my love letter to the rest of the world.
Definitely. No, but the cinematography in it is super good. Super good. Dialogue was not the best, but I don't think you're gonna sit down on a Netflix movie to be like,
It's kind of the downfall of all the Star Wars.
I mean,
movies.
Netflix movies are pretty
Scorsese
good
level.
lately.
Yeah.
Like I like Netflix movies.
Yeah.
well, no, I love Netflix movies. I would love to do something with Netflix in the future.
Hint.
Take that out really quick.
That's a true independent artist. He's like, I would love to work with you. Don't get me wrong. I love money. It's hard out here.
if pop culture is to be believed at all, like you just have to like look in their direction a little weird.
Yeah.
They got you.
Who knows? Maybe like after the Beckham documentary, you might be getting the MalharB doc.
Oh, I'd love to do one in like 10, 15 years for sure. That'd be crazy. I loved his documentary too, yeah.
I mean, Beckham's a lot older than what you'll be in 15 years, bro.
Okay, fine, bro. Like 20, 25, 30 years.
Wow, why are you trying to stunt on his success? He's like,
Whoa,
I'm trying to make
I
it
don't want
there.
him to like stop. Let's be real.
Oh, yeah,
you
that's
get
true.
one
That's true.
documentary.
Yeah, that's
you
true.
get one documentary.
That
right?
is very true, yeah.
You
That's
don't
true.
want it
That's
to be
true.
too early.
Yeah,
very,
yeah.
very, very true, yeah. No, but that film was like it hooks you.
Yeah.
It hooks you for sure. I feel like you'd enjoy it.
So that's definitely on my list. But Captain Holt, he's also best known for Homicide: Life on the Street, which is like a very notable experience for him. Enough that he actually met his wife there, Amy Brabson. I thought Captain Holt was gay, and therefore
I thought he
the
was
actor
gay.
was gay as well. He's
Yeah.
so good at it, but no, I guess not. But how did you guys like his character in Brooklyn Nine-Nine?
I actually really appreciated the character, man. Like I know the trope of like, oh, stern boss that like, learns and grows is like a very played out thing. But with him it was done really well. It was done right because like and in the show itself you got to give him credit for like talking about like the hard subjects of being cops, right? Especially because it's like a very controversial profession.
Yeah, and also being a cop, being black, being gay.
Yeah.
Like he hit all of them, man.
And the thing was like they really addressed that the reason why he was this stern was because of not only just those, but it was like my job is very important. People will die, people's safety relies on me
Yeah.
because of it. And like the politics behind of like, being a commissioner and all that stuff. And I think that's what really helped like the character grow for me and be so notable. Aside from like his dynamic relationship with like Jake Peralta, Andy Samberg, and like Gina, like
And honestly, all of like he's one of the few he was what's the word I'm looking for here? Where like you're kind of like a center point for like a lot of characters, right?
Yeah.
He's a good foundation.
Yeah.
For the show, right?
Yeah, maybe, yeah. I mean, I personally really liked him. Some of the best moments that I can think of with him are, or the best relationship. Yeah, his relationship with Jake is awesome, but my favorite is always going to be with Madeline Wunsch.
Yes.
If you guys know about that character.
Yes.
So this guy, so Malhar, you haven't seen the show, but I can describe it a little bit. So, his character is basically a robot.
Okay.
And
meet more observe.
exactly,
Yeah,
that
what it was.
yeah.
Okay.
So basically, that's the kind of guy. And then he has this one, and he's like very sophisticated. He's classy. He's married to a professor, and so like he's like a PhD professor. So like you wouldn't expect him, and he's like uptight. And then he has a mortal enemy called Madeline Wunsch, and one of the first things that he really we got introduced to that character.
Yeah.
He goes, "If you're here, then who's guarding Hades?" and it's such a classic Holt moment, and you're just like, "What the fuck? Is this the same guy?" Like it's kind of confusing, but
My favorite Holt and Madeline Wunsch moment was when she died because they're such mortal enemies. She made sure that he had to give a eulogy at his funeral in front of all the other cops and commanding officers.
so he has to be nice to her.
He's dude.
Tough.
Yeah. It was a very good relationship. And I'll say this, right? Holt behind for me, and I don't think this shouldn't be a surprise to you guys. With Monica being my favorite Friends character, Santiago being my favorite Brooklyn Nine-Nine character.
Are you, what?
Very similar.
That is so
very
crazy.
similar. That's the thing.
Amy's your favorite character?
So you know what? I'm gonna caveat it though, right? Like early seasons, Amy was my favorite character.
Okay.
Where she wasn't like just like
she was a plot device later, right? Like,
yeah, like no, she had her own like tropes and she had her own arcs with like being a sergeant and all that stuff. But I do understand it. I think I did like Amy as a detective early on much more.
Yeah.
I it's an obvious choice, but Jake was the best. You
Fair.
gotta have a friend like Boyle. But like
you need a friend like Boyle. Get you a Boyle in your life, bro.
That's I think friendship like Boyle is something that I want in my life, and I really hope every day that my friends start acting like Boyle.
Yeah. But I'll say this, so Santiago is my number one early seasons, but number two was always Holt because why wouldn't he be, based off of how you guys know me, right? Like that's the whole thing, and Jake obviously falls right behind him.
Is this more of like a dramatic show too? Because I've only seen like comedic clips. Like
no, it's mostly
Office.
Comedy with a little bit of drama sprinkled in.
We've unfortunately had some significant deaths lately to cover. That's why. But that's something. Otherwise, it's like
No, because the way you guys were talking about it was like Game of Thrones level.
No.
I don't think.
it's a sitcom. It's a
straight up sitcom. Yeah.
Like one of the shows.
Damn, I gotta get into this.
So the show is all comedy with some later seasons when all this shit was like relevant with cops and stuff, like they did some damage control, that kind of stuff. But,
so my question for you guys is like, what is your guys' favorite Brooklyn Nine-Nine moment? I know mine, and I can tell you guys mine, and it's I want it that way. Tell me why.
I love that all of us sang except the one singer in the studio.
I didn't sing either.
He didn't.
I'll hold it down for Malhar. So my favorite moment in all of Brooklyn Nine-Nine isn't a moment; it's an entire episode. It's the one where they interrogate that motherfucker,
the dentist. That's such a good
that
episode.
Was a great episode.
Yeah.
That's proper drama. That's not even like that's less comedy, more drama kind of an episode.
That is literally so. Family Guy, all these shows try to do it, right? Family Guy tried to do it with just Brian and Stewie, if you guys know it, right? They're stuck in a bank vault. That's the whole episode. I think they do a two-part, right? This episode did it, and it was all one scene. You don't know what the fuck's going on outside, and all it is just the strength of their characters. It's so good. Okay. It's hilarious. It's serious.
They're trying to get a confession out of this guy, and it's just literally in the interrogation room, like two characters and like the victim,
and they only have like the night to interrogate him, because if they can't get a confession out, then they have to set him free.
Damn.
And they'll get in trouble because it's like kind of holding somebody for no reason.
Yeah.
Mine would definitely be like around the end. Like I know this is not like a more popular moment for everyone, but it was the last couple episodes, and they were doing the last heist, and it was just like Jake goes into his bathroom and he hears a shower, and he's like he opens the shower on one side, and he's like surprise, and then Amy walks in behind him, and he's like, wait, if you're here, who's in the shower? And Captain Holt in full uniform opens the shower, and he's like, it's heist day, and all of them
that's dope. That's
and all of them are like, oh my god, yes.
That reminds me of another moment where I think it was like a third or fourth heist, and Amy's like, Jake, wake up, it's heist day, and she's like, already, and stuff, and he's like, he takes the covers off, and he's like breakfast. I'm ready, and here's my with breakfast in bed, and the breakfast doesn't exist.
Like the breakfast is eaten, and everyone's like, "Hey, what happened to the breakfast?" And then you just see Captain Holt sitting fully dressed in uniform on the side
in their bedroom,
in their couple's bedroom, and then like he turns on the light, he's like, I ate it. And then he just
get ready for heist.
It's heist day.
It's heist day, dude.
So they do basically these heist inside of their own precinct, like just so like they call it Halloween heist. So basically they try to like competition, like who is the smartest, who can out like maneuver each other, and
steal a certain object.
Steal a certain object.
Is this something I should do with my team? Not heist specifically, but like something
show up
like
to their house.
No, I mean I don't know. Listen, you got to let it grow to that extent organically. Okay, okay. I can't have year one be hey, I'm gonna show up in your fucking bedroom and be like, it's heist day. Like, what the fuck is heist?
They're like, yo, we gotta talk to HR.
So another whole thing that reminds me of, he basically was like a mentor to Amy, because Amy is like, oh my god, he's everything I want to be, and I think the precinct was shutting down, and they're like, she's like, hey, I know you're not my actual mentor, but like I really looked up with you, and I was looking forward to over the years like learning from you, and he's like, I didn't want to tell you this, but I have been mentoring, and brings out this ginormous 4,000 page binder.
Yeah, he's like, well, you're just on step 32 of a 4,000 plan that I have.
Yeah. And then he goes, and he's like, she's like, okay, well, the only thing we could do is like, by the end of the day, go through all of it. So they're working through it. And one of the things is like, they're talking about greetings. So they're like, okay, if someone says, hey, hello, that means, hello. If someone says good morning,
Yeah.
they basically want to say hello. But if someone says what up, that means it's a person you're worth not talking to. Just walk away from that person.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Like if they abbreviate, that's a con man that you're speaking to. No, but like he was a significant character, and like there was a lot to dig in with that show itself, man. Like we could literally do episodes like episode by episode and like review all of them.
But it's not just a show about like certain things, right? It is a show where they try to cover police brutality. They try to cover Rosa coming out as bi and how her parents not accepting her in the beginning. At the end of the episode, her dad accepts it, but mom still needs more time to like kind of do that. And they're like a family. Like all of those things were super cool.
Like racial profiling with Terry Crews. They did like that episode. Like even as a cop, he was just out in the street trying to get like his child's toy, and he got racially profiled
in his own neighborhood.
Yeah, and the only reason the cop apologized was he found out that he was a cop, and that didn't really sit right with him.
And this is all before the George Floyd stuff, so it's not like they pivoted or anything.
Okay.
They only pivoted the last season because of all like it was during COVID and stuff like that, so they had to actually redo a bunch of stuff, and no one wanted to watch a cop show after all the stuff that
probably fell off.
My favorite thing was like during like before like the final season, they were actually genuinely thinking about like just doing a 180 and then turning it into like a postal office. Like all of them are just working in like a postal office.
Wait, seriously?
Yeah.
Oh shit!
There were talks of that. Yeah.
Like how would they explain like the shift?
So in the most,
they're just like, you know what? It's all good.
Yeah. So in the most Jake Peralta way, I would say I would like to end this segment with cool.
No doubt.
So I know that as tradition, we normally do a Am I the Asshole or Reddit story. So I know that we have one prepared today. So I would love to hear your opinions on this, Malhar.
Yeah.
Because some of these get wild. Like we've talked about like sons fucking mothers.
No, I've heard your content before, for sure.
It's a little.
Oh, it's real. It's real.
Yeah.
It's real shit.
All right, so today I have a Am I the Asshole story. So I'll give you a title. Am I the asshole for outshining the bride?
Yes.
The bride.
Yes.
Okay.
So going to the story. So I, 27 female, am a black African woman. I'm living and working in Germany for a fixed period on secondment. While here, I became quite friendly with a colleague, 60 female, and she invited me to her daughter's wedding. I was excited as I've never been to a white wedding. I asked if there was a dress code / color scheme to adhere to since it wasn't specific on the invite or it wasn't mentioned. While I was told the code is dress to impress. So I said, bet. Pretty clear so far, right? Like
Dress to impress, yeah.
Dress to impress. Okay.
Nothing crazy yet.
Nothing but a rule follower.
Okay. Day of the wedding, I understood the assignment. I wear my traditional wear, which is a beautiful and obviously not German. The garment is green. So no problem there. Or so I thought. I get a lot of questions and compliments at the wedding, which I genuinely downplay because it's not my day. My colleague seems colder than usual, but I pay no mind since she's the mother of the bride and she could be preoccupied. The bride is downright rude to me, but again, I give her grace. I congratulate her and thank her for including me, and I get a tight, like, it's a emoji with basically like a stern look in response.
No, I can definitely read it.
Yeah.
I'm feeling this. I'm feeling it.
Okay. So what do you guys think so far? I mean, the vibes I'm getting is they're a little ticked off,
I don't know if it's a traditional African dress because that could be like, a a Indian girl wearing like a sari to like a white guy's wedding.
That's what I'm thinking, right?
You
Like
know?
something that
Obviously
stands
it would
out.
be like, whoa.
Yeah, it's a real
But it's-
standout, man.
Yeah.
I think it's just a normal sexy dress that she wore.
Sexy.
Sexy.
Yeah,
Why are you
yeah,
saying
you're
sexy, bro?
You're married.
Nah.
I wonder if like standard in Germany, you don't wear like super colorful shit, and she like wore something like green stands out.
No, she said it
in a
was
sea of
green. It was
orange.
okay, right?
Yeah, she was. Yeah.
Okay.
So I keep to the edges of the room as the music isn't really my vibe, and I'm just observing how
They're not
European.
playing MalharB.
They're
That's
not.
the problem.
And I'm just observing how European weddings work. I leave around 8 after 5 hours and go home before the wedding finishes. Monday, I walked into whispers in the office. People are acting strangely and more reserved than usual. An office friend pulls me aside and fills me in. The bride's mother is fuming. My outfit was too extravagant, over the top, and inappropriate. I drew attention from the bride and commandeered the room. I was rude and disrespectful. She told people about it, apparently.
I would walk out like a bad bitch if that was me.
But walk out of what? Your own work? Like, what?
I'm going home now.
I'm taking,
Going
a,
home.
I'm taking a PTO today.
I would
Why?
I would just
Too
work-
tired serving
Yeah, just
looks.
work. It's-
I would just live my life and be like, hey, like it ain't you, bro.
So I approach mother of the bride and ask to speak, but she says she has nothing to say to me. I ask her why she was shit talking to people. Why wasn't she directly talking to me? And she calls me an insolent child.
That has to be racist. There are some racist undertones.
Call up HR. I've seen this case before.
I explained to anyone who scolds me that this was my first white wedding. I specifically asked what to wear and follow the guidelines. Where I'm from, there's no such thing as outshining the bride. Weddings are a fashion show and a chance to wear your best and brightest clothes. They told me this is in Africa, which was racially coded, and people have manners here.
Wait, they said this is in Africa, the whole ass continent.
That's fucking racist.
That's so
racist.
racist. Oh my god.
Jesus.
I laughed and told that the person can go to hell. So she's telling people I lack remorse for my behavior. I'm wondering if I'm really the asshole though. So what do you guys think? Is she the asshole?
Fuck no.
I don't
No.
think so.
No.
Yeah, this is an easy. It feels easy. Where like, I
wish we can see the dress.
I do have follow up questions. Yeah, one of which is
Yeah.
what the fuck does the dress look like? 2, how long has she been in the States, or was it the States
No,
or
this is
Europe?
Germany.
Germany, right?
Right.
How long has she been in Germany? And you said it was like the first like wedding she's gone, like white wedding she's
Yeah.
gone
Ask the
to.
questions
Right.
beforehand. It's like,
Yeah.
hey, what's appropriate?
Yeah.
Right? Like, what's the issue? And like, if the theme is dress to impress, and you are mad that I impressed, fuck you.
Yeah, and I mean, and don't get me wrong, like you wear a green dress that like stands out, all that kind of stuff. Like like it's not like she walked into that wedding or reception, whatever, with a white ass ball gown.
Yeah. No, the bride
So
was
I-
serving cunt. She was serving looks.
Yeah, I'll say, I'll say NTA, not the asshole here.
Yeah. So there's an edit. A lot of people said you should go back to where you came from.
Why? Why?
Racist shit, bro.
So
Why?
so
True. I think it's a race thing.
she
Yo,
said
like-
so she's like, I'm about to board the flight and I'm actually going back home.
So oh my god,
Thanks for the feedback.
I
I'm
feel,
guessing I'm not the asshole, but could have inquired further or done research. Fair.
I feel terrible for what I'm about to say, but she did go back where she came from.
Yo, that's fucking dope though. I love that she came to this country, literally took over this wedding.
She took a dump on that wedding, dude.
and
She didn't take a
fucking-
dump on the wedding.
and fucking left, and they got mad at her for being that bitch.
She's like, dude, fuck secondment.
Yeah.
No, it was like towards the end of her secondment, so she just wrapped it up, and then she's like, "Oh, it's time to go back." But she's like, "Funny thing, I am leaving, bitches." But yeah, so you said not the asshole.
Not.
What about you, Malhar?
No, not the asshole.
Not the
definitely-
asshole?
No.
Definitely not the asshole.
Can't be, man. Can't be.
Funny thing is that we are all in agreement, and everyone said it's not the asshole.
Not.
Yeah, that's all I had. I mean, this was a very tamed one comparatively, but I was just so like taken aback because I was like, why would anyone think that they're like this girl is the asshole in this situation when she clearly asked, "What do I wear?"
This keeps steering me further and further in the direction of she's not the asshole.
That's wild, dude. She looks so good. They asked her to leave the country. I would be on a forever high after that.
Yeah.
That's wild.
She was wearing space pants, and her ass was out of this world.
But yeah, man, this was super fun. Honestly, thought this was a really eye-opening experience, just learning about the industry, learning about him as an artist and like the process, and getting some insight into the music world. So thank you so much for coming out, Malhar.
Oh man, thank you all for having me. This is like my first podcast to be on as an artist, so I really appreciate y'all coming with those questions, and the quality was, up to par. It was amazing. Love the vibes.
And definitely listen, man. I'm call it out, but like, plug yourself, give out your socials, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I want everyone to hear this stuff, man.
Oh yeah, definitely. Album is called "Play This You'll Know" by MalharB. Instagram is MalharB official. Just go run it up. There's a song for you on there.
Perfect.
Yeah.
But I think that's it for tonight. So thank you guys for listening. I'll talk to you guys later.
So, yeah.
All right, peace out, guys.
Well, hit the hay.